Hey Capricorn, welcome to eclipse season. Over the next 6 months, the foundations that you've built may quake, but what rises will be stronger, freer, and fully yours. Capricorn, your ruler Saturn is going to be leaving Aries at the 0 degree in your natal fourth house of family, of home, of your foundational structures. And this is a conclusion that may happen over a period of time. This is an intense restructuring, dynamic restructuring, or domestic restructuring, I should say, in the fourth house. And, it's re entering Pisces back in your third. So, over the next, a couple of months, this can have to do with solidifying your communication, your mind, your style, the way that you talk. But as Saturn is retrograding and in retrograde, leaving Aries, you are going to be confronted with these uncomfortable truths about your living situation. These family dynamics, this emotional security. This can be you entering a phase where lessons about patience, about responsibility, about resilience, they really begin to solidify, and you can feel more able to define your boundaries, with those that are around you, with your family, with your household, even with the way that you speak or the things that you say. You have more authority over your voice, and it's time for you to really restructure your dynamic environment and taking these practical steps when it comes to long-term stability and property, in your environment, in home ownership and family responsibilities, taking ownership over your mind. These are, and taking your thoughts very seriously as well, Capricorn, and actually having a positive outlet when it comes to the things that you say and the things that you record on a day-to-day basis. And I mean, by recording, what you allow, where you allow your mind to go. There can be these old obligations that weigh heavy on you, but you need to know how to manage more with more clarity. And there can be an opportunity to really create structures that support your long-term ambitions rather than drain your energy or confuse your mind. On September 2nd, Mercury is going to enter into Virgo in the ninth house. Virgo, when your ninth house is activated, Capricorn, this is philosophy, higher learning, long distance travel, the exploration of new ideas, and your mind becomes highly analytical. It becomes detail oriented. It's eager to organize knowledge, and this is a time where you can be planning studies, you could be taking courses, you could be researching new projects. You can have travel plans that it's going to require some type of preparation. And even when it comes to paying attention to documents and logistics, even scheduling, Capricorn, you're going to have to really pay attention to those, and your philosophy to the world or to your worldview, and spiritual exploration becomes more precise. It's like you are shifting, or let's say you're trying to sort through your belief systems and analyze what really resonates with you logically and your thinking. Even when it comes to written communication, contracts that are related to your education, or they're related to your travel plans, travel documents, these are really favored now. And this is the time where there's a strong drive to acquire this practical knowledge that can be applied immediately to your life or to your situation. On September 6th, 2025, I like to add in 2025. It's just funny because this year is almost over. That's ridiculous, Capricorn. It's just wow. Time is really nothing but an illusion. Uranus is going to be retrograding back into Gemini, which is your natal sixth house. So Uranus in your sixth house, Capricorn, needs you to pay attention to your habits, your responsibilities, your health, your daily routines, your environment, your work environment, people that you see on a day-to-day basis. there's this unexpected disruption or even a revelation, that really can prompt you to re-examine or reevaluate your approach when it comes to being productive, your wellness, and even your like service oriented projects which you do to serve others on a day-to-day basis. You can feel the urge to break free from these rigid routines. You can even feel like this surge that you want to change something, maybe a diet, maybe a fitness routine. Maybe it's time for you to check in when it comes to like treatments, if you've been taking any treatments that have to do with your health. And retrograde energy really suggests that you are revisiting these past experiments or innovations when it comes to like changing something that has to do with your lifestyle. This is really like a health wise transit, I would say, or retrograde. And this is a perfect time for you to check in. So you may be rethinking how you structure your workload, or how you like get yourself together towards reevaluate yourself towards these solutions that are both like adaptable, or adaptive, and even like efficient. Uranus has to do with technology, alternative methods, and Gemini has to do with the mind. So there's these unconventional approaches that could prove more effective in creating more flexibility and improvement throughout your daily life. So definitely pay attention to those, Capricorn. On September 7th, this is a very important day. The full moon is going to be um it's going to be a full moon, a lunar eclipse in Pisces. And your ruler Saturn is actually going to be in Pisces. Okay? And well, it's actually retrograding back into Pisces. So this is your natal third house, and I really want you to, and like, definitely go ahead and watch the video that I created with Divine Feminine Works. We go more in depth of what it means for your sign, but I really want to, like, tell you what this is going to mean for your sign and just give you a rundown. So this is truly a combination period for you, Capricorn, that has to do with relationships, things, projects or communication, the mind. These are matters that are involving siblings, neighbors, even short-term travel. This can be some type of closure. Car. This can really require you to be to take very distinctive action. There can be misunderstandings. There can be times where your mind is demanding more clarity. You can find the ideas, mental patterns that were previously unclear before, they can really crystallize for you. You can know exactly what you want, exactly where you want to be, and exactly the place that you're heading. That's what Saturn is going to do when it comes back into the third house as well, at a very critical degree. Like, this is going to be a time for you to let go of these outdated thinking ways, of communicating, even like let go of the ways that you communicate, and start embracing new, like, start embracing clarity in how you interact with your surroundings. This is really a sense of like completion when it comes to local interactions. This is a moment that can really mark the start of a more intentional and mindful communication pattern that you need, because this is your day-to-day thinking style. And if your mind is in order, you do your affirmations, Capricorn. I really suggest you can get the things that you want out of your mind. And the mind is a very fertile ground, I always say. And we have to be careful what we look at, what we watch, what we listen to, and most importantly, with Pisces being your home of the mind. Your mind is extremely creative, extremely fertile, and wants to daydream and things of that nature. But when it comes to getting the things that you need or interacting with your day-to-day environment, you have to have more intellectual clarity. So on September 13th, the sun is going to conjunct Mercury in Virgo, in your ninth house. So of course, this is going to intensify the focus of knowledge, of spiritual clarity, and these articulation of ideas, that are related to your education, to your philosophy, to long distance travel, to your higher self. This is really a time to research, write, um, publish. It's time to teach. Even when it comes to travel plans, they're more likely now. You're wanting to organize them. You're wanting to receive. You're probably going to receive more information about them that is may like directly impact your future education or your career opportunities. So you're going to be you're really going to be thinking about like legal documents, even contracts, publishing, higher learning. These are things that are likely to require careful attention and your attention this month. But there can be favorable results for you, Capricorn, that really emerge if the details are addressed diligently. This is a time where this alignment, this Cassimi right here, this is like encouraging you to have structured thinking, to have focused study, and to really have disciplined analysis, with the potential for this tangible process when it comes to learning, or when it comes to you know international connection with the next person, or in international like ventures that you take, because a ninth house can be foreign places and things of that nature, right? So on September 18th, Mercury is going to enter into Libra in the 10th house. So, Mercury in your 10th house, this brings a bunch of mental energy and communication, in your professional life. You're more focused towards career planning, networking, your professional reputation. So, there's like these clear balanced communication styles that's based off of like meetings, presentations, negotiations. This is a time where details really do matter for you, Capricorn, and your ability to articulate ideas with diplomacy, like with this, how do you say, like this direct impact on your like public image and even your career, even like where your life is headed. Like you have really you're going to really develop these strategies that involve logical reasoning, that involve like collaboration. Planning can be favored during this time as well, and projects that require precise communication, you can see progress as well. You may also like reconsider your career goals, Capricorn, or professional direction. You have to analyze what is aligning to your long-term ambitions and what needs adjustment. So, Capricorn, on September 19th, Venus is going to enter into Virgo in your ninth house. This is going to emphasize on harmony. This emphasizes on pleasure, that has to do with learning, exploration, and spiritual and oh my, what is the word? Philosophy. Oh my goodness. So like your philosophy to the world, like those type of pursuits, travel, what do you call it, cultural experiences, or like just interactions with people from like different backgrounds. This can feel more enjoyable, more enriching, and this really is going to encourage you to seek beauty in ideas and knowledge. And this is a perfect time for you to have opportunities, for networking, for collaborating with teachers, guides, mentors. And Venus may bring these benefits when it comes to like your communication, your writing, and even if you are publishing something, there's just a smoother ride when Venus is in the ninth house that can feel more attractive. You got, more attractive in the presence, and even in intellectual and philosophical like conversations or discussions. This is where you can both enhance personally and also your professional relationships. On September 21, solar eclipse, okay? Eclipse season in the ninth house. For you, Capricorn, Okay, this happened in the ninth house, which is a house of Dharma. This is a very powerful house. This is going to indicate this powerful new beginning when it comes to higher learning, philosophy, when it comes to legal matters, when it comes to long distance travel, your spiritual exploration of this world. The ninth house is truly our lived experiences and like what we learn from them. And so this eclipse can have the potential for a long-term impact. You may commit to new educational programs. You can plan significant travel. You can embrace a transformative philosophy perspective. And um, the word is philosophical. Like, I don't know why I can't get that word out. It's philosophical, perspective. So these this solar eclipse can bring opportunities that may appear that maybe they may challenge your current beliefs or your prior beliefs in you having to now expand your view on the world. And this can encourage you to integrate the new knowledge that you have learned. This is a key moment to like establish these intentions in areas that broaden your understanding of life and support your personal growth through learning and exploration and through exploring the world or exploring different cultures. On September 22nd, Mars is going to enter into Scorpio in your natal 11th house. And Mars is going to energize your social networking, your dreams, your goals, even your friendships. And you can feel driven to pursue, like collective objectives, even collaborate with groups or assert yourself within like social and professional circles. This can be a period of increased activity in associations with opportunities to take more decisive action and even shared projects. This can be a time where friendships can intensify and you can encounter like individuals who really push you forward, or they push you towards this ambition, or they challenge your perspective. Mars in the 11th house can bring focus, it can bring determination, it can bring assertiveness to your aspirations. It can bring a very careful and manageable um you know type of laser eye, I want to say, because Mars cuts through things. And so when it's in the ninth house, it's really trying to get to the bottom of where we're going with this idea, or where we're going, or what is it going to take for you to reach this long-term goal. And there you may need to really carefully manage this energy, because it can bring conflicts as well within groups, within teams. So definitely be very precise on where you're putting your energy, and be very direct, but also try to be, very open. Mars in, like I said, in the 11th house is surgical, is trying to get to the bottom of where we actually going and pursuing with these ideas collectively. And is it going to expand the consciousness of the world, And so September 22nd as well, the sun is going to enter Libra in your 10th house. So the sun entering into your 10th house, this is I always say the sun in the 10th house is so powerful. Like, this is your status, this is your public image, and your visibility, it definitely increases. And these are efforts, and even any efforts that are made now, Capricorn, are likely to be noticed by those who are in authority. And it is really an excellent time to assert leadership, to work towards personal milestones, to enhance your reputation. Be very strategic when it comes to action. Combine it carefully though with presentation, with planning, and this is going to help you like achieve recognition. Long-term professional goals may come into clear focus. And with Libra being in your 10th house. These initiatives that are launched now can lead to meaningful progress when it comes to, your public and maybe even your career life. But whatever, direction that you want to take your life in, you have to be more willing and understanding to see other people's point of view, willing to talk to people to get to the top, willing to partner up with people in order to get to the top as well, and speaking to the right people, knowing who you're speaking to, and being very decisive when it comes to conversations with people who can, be a helping hand in your aspirations or your success, Capricorn. So yes, that's all I have for you, Capricorn. I hope that was helpful. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, please, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye, Capricorn.